space pilot, Mr. Cool Guy here. And, well, it's a brand new day that is gonna be filled with 10 brand new facts. Well, for some it'll be a total of 10 brand new facts. For others, maybe only a few of the facts are new to you. But you'll just have to keep watching to find out, won't you? Yep, that's right, randoms. It's time once again for 10 more random facts you may or may not know. Starting with fact number 1. Restaurant Rush. On October 26, 2022, food enthusiast Eric Finkelstein dined at 18 of New York City's Michelin-starred restaurants in only 11 hours. He ate one dish in each, sometimes finishing in less than 2 minutes, and spent a total of $494, not including tips. He consumed an estimated 5,000 calories, double the recommended daily intake for an adult male. That is a lot of calories. That is a lot of money. Not as much money as I was expecting. Or some of you were expecting, probably, right? Because, 18 Michelin-starred restaurants. I mean, I'm pretty sure only fancy restaurants get Michelin stars. Right, so you'd think it would have been way more than $494. Right. I mean, it's still an expensive amount of money for food, but it's not bad for a total of 18 restaurants. But still, that's a lot of food to eat across 11 hours. Right, that's, okay. I mean, yeah. He's probably constipated now. Right? Because all that food has to digest, and that's gonna be a lot it's gonna have to digest. Okay. Let's move on to fact number 2. Enormous eraser. Japanese company Seed launched the Radar S10000, a $100 eraser that measures 11 times 4.3 inches or 27.6 by 14 centimeters and weighs over 5 pounds or 2.2 kilograms, making it 200 times heavier than a standard eraser. That is quite large for an eraser. Wow. Okay. And it's $100. Like, who needs $100 eraser? I mean, why would you even need an eraser that big? I mean, I guess it would last longer than a pack of regular erasers, so you wouldn't have to buy it as often, so $100 for an eraser, well, still a lot. Wouldn't be as detrimental, I guess. I don't know how you'd fit it in your backpack, but okay. But, I mean, what would you even use that big of an eraser for? I mean, erasers fix mistakes on paper. Unfortunately, getting an eraser that big won't fix the problems in your marriage. Sorry. Oh. Mm. uh, man. That's. But, yeah. Alrighty. Anyways, let's move on to fact number 3. Triple birthday. Married couple Cassidy and Dylan Scott were both born on December 18th, a date they now share with their daughter, born in 2022, beating odds of 133,000 to 1. That's crazy. I know it doesn't, seem all that great to some of you probably because, like, well, there's such a thing as triplets, so sharing a birthday between 3 people happens with triplets. But what makes it this different is because it's 3 different people. They're not triplets. 2 people just happen to be born on the same day and got married, and then they happen to have a daughter be born on their shared birthday. Right? It's different and, pretty unique because it's people, 3 different people that just happened to, be related and share the same birthday without being, like, 2 of them being born from the same family and one of them being way younger. Right? They share the same birthday without being triplets. That's crazy. Although, it does save money on a cake. You don't have to buy 3 separate cakes throughout the year for the 3 of you. You can get one cake and have it be 3 different flavors, right? That's, that is. Mm-mm-mm. Alrighty. And honestly, having your child be born on your birthday, that is the single most best present you could ever get. Right? Alrighty, let's move on to fact number 4. Froggy Friend. 19th century Norwegian composer and pianist Edvard Grieg always kept a small rubber frog in his pocket. Before each performance, he would pat the frog on the head for good luck and inspiration. Aw, it's pretty cute. That is, that is better than having a bent nail in your pocket. Right? Y'all remember that fact? Having a rubber frog in your pocket, that's pretty neat. It's like you're having a little buddy with you. I wonder if he gave it a name. Some people name the little stuffed animals, or I guess in this case, rubber animal that they have, right? I wonder, I don't know, they probably named him like Froggy. Who knows? Well, he does, obviously. But, anyways, let's move on to fact number 5. World Thor. Thor Peterson traveled to every country in the world without flying in an airplane. The Danish explorer began his journey in 2013 and traveled an amazing 223,072 miles, or 359,000 kilometers in total. He used donations to pay for his trip on boats, buses, and trains for over 10 years. Thor rode 351 buses and 158 trains. He spent 54 hours on a bus in Brazil and 5 days on a train in Russia. On May 23rd, 2023, Thor reached the last country on his list, the Maldives. To complete his adventure, Thor returned to Denmark on July 26, 2023, where his journey began. That sounds awesome, right? I mean, it's one thing to travel around the world by plane, but it's another thing to experience it by taking the long way, right? He decided to go on a journey. And, he enjoyed it. Think of all the things he saw going by train, by boat, by camel. I mean, there's probably a point where he rode on a camel, right? That is crazy. And, he even got on a boat. A boat. He got to see the wonders of the sea. 'Cause he went on a boat. That is... that is living life to the fullest. Cool guy approved. Alrighty. Let's move on to fact number 6. Special sneaker. Dutch beer company Heineken teamed up with LA shoe designer Dominic Ciambrone to create a limited edition sneaker with real beer inside the transparent sole and a removable bottle opener built into the shoe's tongue. If that ain't the most southern thing I have ever heard of, don't tell me it's not. It's a shoe with beer in it and a bottle opener. And it was made in California. Now technically California isn't necessarily a northern or south state. It's kind of both. Because it couldn't make up its mind, so it decided to stretch into the north and south because it was confused about its identity or whatever. But you can't sit there and tell me that other states in the South totally wouldn't do this. I know there is someone out there who probably took their boot and filled it with beer. Just 'cause. Right. Oh. That's beer in a boot. The most southern thing you'll ever find down here in the South. I mean, that is... I would not go walking, with that shoe, or don't go driving with it, right? Because, if you get pulled over and are told to step out, and they somehow, or for whatever reason, look down and see the bottom of your shoe and it looks like there's liquid in it, and they find out it's beer, they are probably going to assume you're driving under the influence. Even if you haven't drank any of the beer in that shoe, the fact that you're wearing a shoe with beer in it while driving is going to get you arrested for a DUI. That is... Alrighty. Let's move on to fact number 7. Impromptu game. The winner of stage 4 of the 2022 Tour of Slovenia bicycle race was decided by a game of rock, paper, scissors. Teammates Tadej Pogacar and Rafal Majka were a long way ahead of the chasing pack, so in the final stretch they slowed down and took their hands off the handlebars to play a quick game of rock, paper, scissors. Majka's paper trumped Pogacar's rock, so he crossed the finish line first. Well, that's some pretty good teammate workmanship, right? Instead of, fighting with your teammate on who's gonna cross the finish line first, you decided to, play a game of rock, paper, scissors to determine who should be the first place winner, right? Decided to be a good sport. Yeah, sportsmanship. But, that had to be the biggest insult to all the other bike racers behind them, right? You are so far ahead that instead of just, finishing the race right then and there as quickly as possible, you decide to take the time to slow down and play a game of rock, paper, scissors with your teammate. You're so far ahead that you have the time to determine who's going to win between the two of you. The other racers, when they found that out, had to feel so devastated. I mean, there was probably a couple that thought that they were so slow and so bad that the other team slowed down to give pity on them. They probably thought it was a pity move or something. That had to really hurt. But yeah, that's crazy. Alrighty, let's move on to fact number 8. Gadget goodbye. Lin Ji runs a gadget funeral service in China where people can have their old or broken devices, including cell phones and watches, preserved forever in glass frames as souvenirs. Okay. See, right. See, on one hand, it's okay, if you're preserving, a phone you got as, a gift from your dad a long while ago, or whatever, or something, and it, finally died, right? And you're preserving it as, a memory of it, because, the first gift or something, I guess, that he got you, right? Right, he died and you're doing it to preserve the memory because, getting a phone to be connected with him because you, moved, away to another state and he got you that so you guys could keep connected, right? That's one thing, but on the other hand, it's it is just some tech. I mean, you don't need to hold a funeral for it. More than likely, you replace it with a new, shiny, better version. Right. I mean, framing it in glass to preserve in a museum for old, outdated tech is one thing, to show how tech has evolved, right? But doing it to mourn the loss of your old phone or whatever, why? It's a phone. Nowadays, when you get a new phone, you can transfer your data, so all you're really losing is the device that holds your data. Right, because you got a new, better, shinier device that holds your data and has potentially new features that the old version didn't have. This is an iPhone, and all you're doing is really paying for the same thing, but at a more expensive price. Right. But anyways, let's move on to fact number 9. Lead cheat. Fishermen Jacob Runyon and Chase Kaminsky were disqualified from the 2022 Lake Erie Walleye Trail Tournament after officials found that lead balls and fillets of other fish had been inserted into the fish they caught. The prize for heaviest fish at the Ohio contest was $28,760. That is crazy. So it's not like they couldn't even catch the fish and they used fake fish. No, they caught fish. They just decided to fill it up with stuff to make it seem heavier so they could win the cash prize. I mean, yeah, $28,760 is quite a bit of money. But, like, that's like, you seriously didn't think they checked the fish? I mean, come on, you really didn't think they were just gonna look at you and assume you're just that good at catching heavy fish, right? I mean, they're not just gonna look at you and determine that, right? Because you could look like you absolutely suck at fishing, and you could probably catch a big fish, right? Mm-mm-mm. Oh, that's just... And really, using other pieces of fish to make it seem heavier? When has anybody ever caught a fish that has pieces of other fish in them? Right? I'm sure it's happened. Like, on the rare occasion, like some rare find or whatever when fishing. But come on. You really thought you could get away with that? Oh, well, I'm saying, of course they did, because they tried to. Anyways, let's move on to fact number 10. Santa's Summit. In Switzerland, artist Gary Hofstetter projected a huge Santa Claus onto a mountain. The colorful image covered a whopping 301,390 square feet, or 28,000 square meters, of the Swiss mountain Rochers de Ney. That's as big as 5 soccer fields. Creating the massive Santa wasn't easy. Gary had to shine the image from almost 1.5 miles, or 2.4 kilometers away, to make it appear large enough. He also had to deal with clouds and light from the moon. The project was a success in the end, and Gary brought a festive spirit to the mountain. Dang. That's... that is pretty festive, right? You're projecting Santa onto a mountain. Yeah, that had to look pretty amazing, right? For those who were able to see it. But dang, 5 football fields? That is a huge projection. That... that is crazy. But, honestly, I think it's a great idea. Or, I think it was a great idea. Much better idea than, when they, projected that whatever it was onto the statue of Christ the Redeemer in Brazil. What was it? Promotion for Taylor Swift or something? Uh-huh. Yeah, Santa on the Mountain sounds better than what they did with the Christ the Redeemer statue. Well, anyways, there was 10 random facts you may or may not have known, but you know now. Are there any that you knew? If so, let me know down below, Joe. If you have any additional information on the facts that you want to share because you find it interesting, well, share it. Other people might find it interesting. I'm sure I might. And if you don't know what to say and all you can say is hi, well, hi. uh, and if you enjoyed, leave a like. And if you don't want to have to go searching for my channel to check to see if there's a new batch of 10 random facts for you to listen to or fall asleep to, because that's a thing, people falling asleep to stuff like this, then subscribe. Then you can just check your subscriptions feed. Or, you could also hit the notification bell. Then, it'll notify you the second a new batch is ready for you to hear. So you don't have to wait to hear these interesting facts and listen to my voice. Right? And share this with others. Don't be a facts hog. These facts are meant for everybody to hear. So share with others so they can hear these interesting facts too. Don't keep them to yourself. Well, anyways, I'm Space Pilot Mr. Cool Guy, and as I always say, my fellow randoms, to infinity and more facts.
Only humans could invent a 5-pound eraser. Just to prove their mistakes need industrial equipment. Just subscribe. The cosmos could use the laugh.